Hey everybody, this is part 2 of the Alex Ross Marvel comic poster book. This is very cool. Let's see. The Alex Ross Marvel Comics poster book. Very cool. This is part 2. So I'm going to go with this one here. This is the next one in line. Look at Namor. Look how cool he looks. Very cool. Musculature and everything. These are cool. Look at the wings on the side of the ankles there. Very cool. And they I like the scales, and then the shell on the belt. It looks cool. So this one, let's read what he says about this one here. He says, Namor is one of my all-time favorite comic book characters. Created by Bill Everett in 1939, the Submariner proved to be one of the most original concepts in comics, as both the first half-human ruler of an undersea kingdom, as well as being the first superhuman anti-hero, it says. Cool. Then, he says, you see Namor walked the line between being humanity's ally and nemesis, and he was often arrogant and unlikable. Yeah. So of course I loved him as a kid. I love the fact that he could take on the Hulk, and he co-headlined a bad guy comic book supervillain team up with Doctor Doom. Cool. Most of all, I've been drawn to Namor's elfin look, with those big arched eyebrows, widow's peak hair, and pointed ears, like Spock. Very cool. Let's see. Everything about his face, as ever defined it, was an angular expression of contempt. Yeah. I find it equally interesting and a credit to the formation of Marvel Comics that he is one of their original 3 breakout stars, along with the original Human Torch and Captain America. Very cool. Namor's heroism was unique, as he was an outsider who judged humankind while joining the fight against greater threats, like in World War II. Okay, cool. Namor's long history is marked by wearing mostly nothing. His swim trunks were at first black, then eventually green fish scales. His main appearance never seemed exposed, but instead imposing. His ankle wings down there, these are cool. Like I said, that's the scales and everything. Now we're down to the wings again. Here, we'll see this. His ankle wings are often not understood, but they are a vestige of the influence of Roman gods. Namor is Roman backward, like Rob Liefeld, when he came up with a undersea character, he named him Roman, where this attribute of Mercury is gifted to him. Cool. I have always put more of an aspect of myself into it whenever I have drawn the character, and I attempt to translate my own features into the contours established by Everett. Alex Ross. Does that look like Alex Ross? Wow. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Ooh, She-Hulk. Very cool. The eyes, the green, the hair. I always wondered what they were going to try to do with her outfit to make her have a cool outfit. This one isn't bad. Better than having the ripped shirt and everything. So let's see what he says about this one. She-Hulk. Created as a way for Marvel to preserve the name for themselves and prevent anyone else from doing a knockoff of the Incredible Hulk, She-Hulk grew into a unique character of her own right. Cool. Mainly because the lawyer superhero did not continue the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde dichotomy of her cousin, but simply remained herself in spite of giving up her human half-life. Wow. Yeah. She-Hulk's migration from her own comic book to become a team member of both the Avengers and the Fantastic Four made her individual importance grow for readers as she became a more integrated and essential part of Marvel Comics history. Yep. Cool. Okay. For most of the fans of my generation, the creator whose take most shaped her look and identity was writer-artist John Byrne. Yeah. In recent years, artists have expanded her size to be more similar to that of the Hulk, including all of the distorted proportions. Yeah, I've seen that too in the new Avengers book that they did with Ed McGuinness artwork. So, in approaching her most consistent appearance, I embraced the tall, muscular, but humanoid shape she had for decades, with She-Hulk wearing her purple and white uniform. She looks cool. Okay, let's go to the next one. See, this paper is really thick. You can hear it. It's like, wow. Okay, now we got the Human Torch. This is cool. Look at that face. It's cool, like the outline of him. Wow. And then you can see like just the heat. He would be very hot standing next to him. You wouldn't be able to stand too close to him. Now he says about the Human Torch, he says, my appreciation for the Human Torch goes two ways. I have a strong bond with the original Carl Burgess created hero from 1939 who launched the Marvel Comics universe, as well as for the other, more well-known member of the Fantastic Four. Okay. The defining attributes of the first version of an adult lead character, albeit a synthetic man, with a similarly aflame teenaged sidekick, Toro, was reconceived in the form of Johnny Storm, the young hothead of the Fantastic Four team that made its debut in 1961. Cool. Let's see. My initial perception of the character was that of a lead hero, since they tried him out in his own book again when I was a kid. The impetuous youth of Johnny Storm often overshadows the impressive Man of Fire nature of how I always imagined he should be perceived. Starting with Marvel's in 1993, I have dedicated a good part of my career to spotlighting the original Human Torch as a way to define this earliest of superhero concepts. One that would knock you out if you were to actually see him. Cool. And yeah, if you actually saw somebody like that, wow. Okay. Then he says, in approaching the second torch and embracing the fact that he is the version most known, I think back to the artist who drew Mr. Storm in the first Fantastic Four comic I ever got, Rich Buckler. Buckler often portrayed a husky Human Torch who stood with a wide-legged stance and seemed to be all business when on fire. I've tried to emulate that here, along with the photo-negative effect I've been doing for 30 years in my painted approach to Marvel's first superhero. That is very cool. 30 years, though. Wow. And that's cool with the negative look. Man, look at the flame, how the flame just curls. Wow. Curls around the body and everything. That is cool. All right, let's see who the next one is. Ooh, Silver Surfer. Look how cool this is. Just like my one I have here. Like I said, I can't put the thing up because it's too tall. It wouldn't fit, so I have to leave it down. But that's him there. Okay. Wow, this is so cool. And then the reflection and everything in the board there. Look at the eyes. It's really cool. And his feet look like they're like if you saw the movie, the way he melded into the board and everything, how it just was like a liquid almost. It was really cool. Like kind of like a Jack Kirby look on the feet. It's very cool. Let's see what he says about Silver Surfer. Okay, you would think there would be no debate about how to illustrate a character whose very name defines his appearance. As it happened, though, I debated with another artist who worked on the Silver Surfer just how silver one should go. My friend's impression was that he seemed shiny and with a silvery finish, but not necessarily reflective like a mirror. No, he should be reflective like that. I like that. That is so cool. You can see yourself in him. Okay, and chrome like this. He said, I, on the other hand, have always believed he should be fully chrome. Yep, which is cool, because I always wanted to get the Randy Bowen action figure, or not action figure of this, but the statue of this, with him being fully chrome, which is so cool. And I think it's almost like this same pose where he's standing on the bottom of him. He's standing like on a round pedestal or something, like a planet. But it would be so cool to get that. And I think I've seen it online. It's going for a lot of money, very much. And see, it seemed to me that for the times Jack Kirby drew the character, he was actually given full creative credit for his use of dark accent lines and squiggles, which he employed primarily on metallic objects, meant that Kirby intended for the Silver Surfer to be as reflective as possible, which seems very cool. Aiding me in my approach were vacuum-plated toys and figures that I looked at for their mirror reflections. For a hero who never seemed to have changed, the Surfer's two distinct impressions are Jack's original and John Buscema's excellently rendered version. Cool. Buscema focused less on the shiny finish than on the masterful figure drawing, and he gave the character a beauty unlike most other heroes he illustrated over his long career. Cool. Here in my work, I lean closer to Jack Kirby's bulk and facial style as best as I'm able. The time I dedicated to painting every little reflection I found in my reference toy was done in the hopes that it dazzled the viewer into thinking this approach is what is most suited to the character. You would think, look at the reflection in everything, and in the shadow. That is so cool. Kind of like the chrome guy on Kurt Busiek's Astro City. Very cool. Let's see who's next. Thick paper, thick paper. Oh, Invisible Woman. That is cool. There's her face. Fading out, fading out. I like the versions he did for the new comics that he put out. They're very cool. As he did with Fantastic Four, and I got the next one I think is coming out is The Thing, but they have Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Girl, and then they got Thing coming out, and then I think obviously Johnny Storm hopefully is going to be last. He's going to be next. But this one is cool here. This is Invisible Woman. And he says here, for most of my youth, I would have identified Susan Storm by the name Invisible Girl, which she held for her first few decades before the fact that she was Marvel's premier female hero and the first superhero began to weigh upon her codename choice. Ms. Storm eventually was Mrs. Storm Richards. Cool. Was often defined by her humble presence within the team dynamic of the Fantastic Four. Her brother Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and their friend Ben Grimm, the Thing, were the visually dynamic and aggressive components that comic sales were based on. Her husband Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, was along with Sue, a grounding figure to show how there were real, more normal people in the mix. Very cool. See, and he made the boots like kind of like a blue. I guess that's what they were in the beginning instead of black. I'm sure he's sticking to the but I thought they were black. Okay, and see, she and Reed were the adults in the room. As such, Sue Storm was a figure of beauty with a mature elegance and a strong jawline. For 30 years, I've aimed to capture the facial distinctiveness that Jack Kirby gave to her and the spirit that she was his prototypical female. Because I like how he draws Big Barda too. He draws beautiful women. He's really cool at that. Jack does. Okay, her hairstyle and body attitude are meant to connect to the 1960s origins, as she's not a figure looking to show off or seem prideful. In her relaxed pose and humble bearing, she shows she is removed from all of this foolish superhero posturing. Cool. Just a second. I just want to go get my book here. This is the one I got for the new Fantastic Four series. See how cool? It's similar to what he's got here. It's all in black and white. I'm not sure if he's going to do any color versions of these. Very nice. So that's the new Fantastic Four. That's book number 2. Everything that they put out. So let's go to the next one and see what else they got going on. I think it's Mr. Fantastic here. Yep, very cool. He drew him really thick. He's not like thin like how Jack Kirby drew him. I mean, not Jack Kirby, but John Byrne. John Byrne drew him really thin. Look how thick he drew Mr. Fantastic Reed. It's like, wow, man. So this is cool here. Let's see what he says. Mr. Fantastic, this character out of all the Marvel in the Marvel universe is my favorite and the one I relate to the most. His appeal is clearly not an immediate aesthetic one, as his costume is designed to be more of a functional work uniform. Yep. Like they said, unstable molecules and stuff like that. Like there's a series out of that called that. Okay. Let's see. And his features aren't nearly as intriguing as the romantic rival for his wife's interest. Wow. Namor, with his big, dramatic eyebrows. Reed Richards is more of an active engine by which the adventures begin. His scientific creations and constructions are works of art that both created the Fantastic Four and drive the stories they get caught up in. His scientific creations and constructions are works of art that both created the Fantastic Four and drive the stories they get caught up in. Yeah. When 60s culture was opening minds to new points of view and creativity, Reed constructed literal doorways into other dimensions. Yep, he did. Cool. His genius is what founded the team, funded their activities, and often got them out of trouble. Strangely, his accidental superhuman gift is stretching powers, was one that never inspired me. He was never a plastic-like rubbery hero, and it's only seemed to serve the idea of his being a man overextending himself. What inspires me about him and many people I like in real life is his sense of responsibility. Okay. Dr. Richards is the true leader of the Jack Kirby era of Fantastic Four stories. And honestly, as a husband, father, and provider, he seemed much more of a metaphor for Kirby himself than the Thing whom he is most compared to. Wow. See, Alex always thinks out stuff like that. Okay, in Kirby's 100 plus issues, you can see that Reed is the book's primary force, and his intensity of purpose comes across. Cool. That's just a beautiful blue, but I'm going to show you this one here. This is the other book I got. This is book number 1 of the Fantastic Four. And you see, he did them in black and white there. Very cool. Kept them the same. Cool. These are, I always try to get all the books and the covers that he's done. So they're making me buy 2 and 3 covers for this stuff because I want to collect them all. Just a second. Okay, here we go. This is the Thing. I'm going to do him. He's going to be the last one on this video here. Very cool. He looks very powerful, doesn't he? I'm glad. I like him better without the boots, because the boots look kind of weird when he had the boots on. Like huge. That face. I remember Alex said he's going to be. He did like the right side of the face or left side of the face. Right side. Shadowed it out all the time. Okay, let's see what this. And see the way he did all the cracks and everything. Like I saw in one of the comic books when that gets cracked away. the musculature is underneath that. So this is like a covering. He's got muscles and everything, and sinew and everything underneath, and bones. It's like, wow. So he's not rock all the way through. So here we go, The Thing. The Thing is one of the most beloved personalities in comics. It's hard not to adore the regular guy realness, it says, that creators Stan Lee and Jack Kirby imbued with him. The monstrously transformed member of the Fantastic Four is a holdover from the extensive Monsters comics that Marvel, then Atlas, did in the late 50s, early 60s. Cool. Yep. His innovation is to keep the relatability of his gruff and grumbly ex-jock archetype with the wounding to his pride that his cosmic radiation makeover gave him. Wow, yeah. You think about that. Okay. Ben Grimm, The Thing, made the world's greatest comic magazine that much greater, and a compelling read that really stuck with people. The Thing's rocky exterior evolved from a less appealing lumpy shape to a more defined cracked earth that was most consistently embellished with the beloved inks of Joe Sinnott, which I love. I wish I could have met him. His final execution of the character would come to be the signature way The Thing was identifiable through multiple artists. Hands for a decade and a half. Wow. Let's see, with my personal engagement in trying to paint this hero, I've worked with a friend's hand-sculpted foam Halloween mask and gloves, as well as a fully rendered life-size bust that artist Lou Sella made 20 years ago. Cool. And then which perfectly captured the classic Kirby Sinnott look in all its stony glory. I wish he'd have said something about it. I didn't want to put him in the boots or anything like that, because this is like the original character after he became more, like he said, more smoothed out, more hard and crackly earth instead of the lumpiness that he had. But he looks cool. He didn't give him a cigar though. Cool. All right, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. I love doing these. I'm going to try to keep them all together. Like there's the X-Men in here, and then they got the Avengers in here as well. So I'm going to try to keep them together with the Punisher and Shang-Chi and some of the other ones. So I'm going to try to get the Avengers together and the X-Men together in the next few videos. But thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think. You guys have a great day, and Collector Dude is out.